Come here. Get off.
Hey y'all, welcome to this week's episode of The Turn On. Today we are talking to Adriene B, pronouns she and her. Adriene is a 30-something Baltimore native who cultivated her audience with a unique and highly engaging Twitter chat and her daily 5-spot Facebook post. Her audience looks to her for her unfiltered honesty and refreshing authenticity. Now with her podcast, The Boonie Breakdown, Boonie is your source for all things responsible and ratchet. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey. This been, long time in the making. So,
Yes.
Very excited.
Let's go.
Okay. So Kenrya said in your intro, you are a podcast host, among other things, but podcasts didn't exist when we were growing up. So when you were little, what did little Boonie want to be when she grew up?
What I wanted to be, I'm a true Sagittarius. It changed quite a lot. I wanted to be a hairstylist. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a lawyer. But then when we got like high school age, I wanted to be a car designer for BMW.
That's hella specific.
That is mad specific. How did you get there?
So I got there because, believe it or not, I am a math and science geek. I love
Me
math
too.
and science. So I was just like, I'm going to be an engineer. There aren't a lot of women car designers, and there weren't black women car designers.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now it's like 3, actually.
Wow.
I still follow that industry, but in true Sagittarius fashion, I get to college and I was like, engineering is boring.
Where the political science at?
I literally switched to the business school. Like, okay, we can do business. That sounds fun. And then became a marketing major.
Damn. Well, shit.
A true Sagittarius.
I say this all the time. I think it is so fucked up that we are forced to ask 18, 19-year-olds to commit to some shit that
For the rest
do you
of
want
their
to do?
supposedly sets the path for the rest of their life. Fuck that.
Well, and then make people feel bad when that's not what they want to do, right? Or make it difficult for them to switch up and make pivots because of some shit that you decided when you were 18 and dumb.
Yeah. So but then I think when my grandmother was like, look, okay, you did this one switch. This is it. Okay. We're not changing. You're not going to be in college 6-7 years. We're going to finish this in 4. So if it's business, then that's what it's going to be.
It was
she
nice
knew me because I would have kept changing. I would have been somebody. I would have been like Lynn from Girlfriends. I would have been in college for just
all the PhDs.
Yes.
I need my third PhD. Okay.
That totally would have been me.
So how did you get from I'm in business now, I'm in marketing, to doing your show and everything else that you do? And tell us what all you do.
So in real life, I do marketing and communications, the 9 to 5. And so I had a deviation from that career. I think I got laid off to be 20 again, just be like, fuck these jobs, right? I had no real responsibilities. And I remember I got offered severance or take some bullshit career path. And it's okay to cuss, right?
Girl.
And I was like, I'm going to take the severance. And I had the best 6 months of unemployment ever. But at the same time, my grandmother's health took a downturn. So it was the perfect time to be unemployed. And then we, good black folk in Baltimore, I got a job at Social Security and I fucking hated it. Oh my God, I hated that job. But it was just because it was so boring and regimented. And it was after I had the skill set, it was like, this is it? This is all? This is what y'all be doing for 30 years? Nah, I'm out of here. But while I was there, I would get so bored that every day at 2:00, I started this Twitter chat called Boonie's Ratchet Hour. and people would
Wait,
literally...
I'm sorry. So it was so slow at your job that you were able to have a standing appointment
Every day?
Every day.
Every day at 2:00. And it would start like, I would tweet out like, cue up Oprah's original theme music. That the original one, not that cute shit she was doing at the end. And people would be like, or if I was late, like if I was 10 minutes late because something was actually happening at work, people would be like, where's Boonie? Like, so it became like a standing thing. And we would talk about, I'd be like, oh my God, people are telling me this. And if they were too shy, they would DM me. So I would be like, DM Teo, and it'd be some ratchet, raunchy shit. And everyone, that was like 10 years ago. I didn't even know what a podcast was then. And a guy that I met through Ratchet Hour on Twitter was like, you should do a podcast. He said this then. And I was like, what? No, didn't do it. He builds out a website. He does all of this stuff for me, like for free. And I'm like, yeah, I was just like, what? Like, I'm not doing that. Kept doing
Did you
with
give
that.
us some pussy? Kenrya asked.
Oh, that's like, he's on like my Mount Rushmore of Dicks. Like the best sex I was like having at the time.
Of course. I'm like, niggas not working that hard for nothing.
So he slid up. He was that. It goes down the DMs 10 years ago. Like, and so that's how it started. Then 3 of us got together. Like, okay, we're gonna do this podcast, and we didn't do it. I'm still fucking him. And then I did a blog. I started a blog in the meantime. Like, I'll be a blogger. Hated that shit. And then the podcast finally, I was like, all right, let me try this podcast thing that someone told me to do 10 years ago.
Wow.
Well, at the time, 6 years ago.
Before I ask my next question, you talked about your Mount Rushmore of Dicks.
Yes.
And I remember I caught an episode, like, have you seen that meme where there's like the 2 people like in an advertisement and a guy is sitting next to it, like talking to the advertisement? That's how I feel when I listen to your episodes. I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm adding my 2 cents in. So
I do not know what meme you're talking about.
He's like laying on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah. Next, he's like, it's like an ice cream ad, and these 2 girls in the ad, like smiling and talking, and he's like laying next to him, like, yeah, girl. So anyway,
I've seen
the episode that I caught, y'all was talking about, I think it was you and Sheikah. Y'all were talking about your Mount Rushmore of Dicks. Yes. Explain that, and then give me your Mount Rushmore of Dicks. Kenrya, you will have time to think, and I will provide mine.
Okay. Mount Rushmore, because I was having trouble. I always had like my top 3. And for me, those were the men. If they knocked on my door right now while we're recording this, I would be like, bye, bitches, I gotta go. So that was always my criteria. Any moment in life I ran into these men again, they don't have to work for it. Like, we're doing it. But then someone else came into the picture recently, and I was like, well, those 3 still deserve, but... And then I was like, Rushmore. I could do a Mount Rushmore. So we pinpointed it as my Mount Rushmore. And so in the episode, we were like, it was Jefferson, Washington, Lincoln, and Roosevelt. And we really assigned these qualities to our corresponding meats, or penises for this instance. And so my Washington is the guy who did that. Like, that I was just talking about.
The founding father. Okay.
Yeah, like I think that was my first time, because when we met, I was maybe like 26 or 27. So I thought I was having good sex until I met that nigga. And I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be? Okay. He said
transformational sex.
Yeah, like that was, and he had a gorgeous penis. Like, everything about it was just, yes.
Top
then I had ever since then it was like, well, that set the bar. I'm not, we smashed, that shit's trash, I don't even count it.
Like our good sis Megan said.
So then I would say my Lincoln, I have a guy who's like 10 years older than me. So at the time I was like 32. He was like 42, 43. So I feel like he was my Lincoln. He was distinguished. He was older.
I was about to say, did he like free to enslave niggas? Like, okay.
He freed that
Well,
pussy.
he freed that
pussy, right?
My pussy was enslaved because my dumb ass, after Mr. Washington, my heart was broken. Oh Lord, I'm in love. I was in love. Was I in love? I did a year of no sex.
Oh,
and he was the first one. He freed the pussy.
Oh,
he was the first
he
one
did
back
free the
on.
pussy. Okay.
So he literally did. Then my Roosevelt, he's just classic. Like he's just classic. And I recently saw him. I had not had sex with this man to prove my point. I had not seen him in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
5 years. I ran into him last year, right before COVID happened. Was like, whoo, the chemistry is still there. And then it was not safe to do so in a pandemic, but he pulled up and I was like, pack a bag and stay a few days because it's rough right now. And that shit was still fucking good. So I was like, that solidified his spot. And then the new person, he's definitely the Jefferson. Like, he deserves to be a founding father because he's taught me a few new things. Like, old hoes can learn new things still. And I felt like he deserved Jefferson.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay. So for me, I guess my founding father would probably be this guy that I dated. I dated him right after college. He was an older guy, and it was just we started. That's when I kind of started getting wild. That's when shit started. Like, we started experimenting and playing and doing more things. And then I have another friend who, you know what? He's my Lincoln. My friend, Kenrya, I traveled to meet that friend. You know what I'm talking about?
I know that. Yeah, okay.
So, like, it's good because, again, we have fun. He be like, we gonna get free. We are free and loose. I like that. I have a recent one who is probably the newest to the list, and that was who just called.
Come on, new to the list. I heard him like, I'm in the area. I was like, oh shit. Let's get
How long
this
you
going.
gonna be here? Yeah. Yeah. And then
Was he Jefferson or is he Roosevelt?
That nigga's Jefferson. No, he's Roosevelt. Because didn't Roosevelt do the highway system and stuff?
Yeah, public
Like,
works.
Roosevelt like really had an effect on the community. And so
Come
this
on,
nigga
man.
had an effect on the street. He had an effect on the streets. Okay. And then my Jefferson. I'll give it to my ex-husband just because no, I'm not gonna go back to it. It's just, it was significant dick.
Oh,
Okay.
I know. Although, my partner's still betting that it's gonna happen, and I was like, nigga, it is never happening.
Nigga,
That's okay. His dumb ass can
Fuck
keep
out.
thinking that it's gonna happen because I'm gonna take his pink slip.
Yeah, you like owed something, right? Yeah, she gonna
A
take
car.
his car. So, yeah, they bet a car on if I'm gonna get back with my ex-husband.
It's never happening.
Oh.
Mind you, like, my ex-husband and I are cool as fuck, but like, it ain't gonna happen. And yeah, like, and
That's
this
okay.
fucked up thing
I'ma
is,
get a
he
car.
thinks he sees some shit, and I'm like, no, you don't see shit. So
He does. He thinks he does.
yeah. Mhm. So okay, Kayla.
Okay, so I'm gonna preface this by saying that none of these niggas could walk up and get it again. I'm out the game.
Okay. All right.
So
okay,
that is,
okay.
I got to give that disclaimer.
All right,
All
that's
right,
fair.
so, and also all the founding, well, whatever, we'll get there.
They're trash.
So-
but okay, let's.
Yeah, we know that.
So Washington would be the dude who I fucked with starting my sophomore year through the beginning of my senior year. Yeah, he's a trash. Exactly. Trash. Ended up being abusive, all of that. But before that, he was the one who made me late to class and meetings because he was giving me head. This man had no stigmas around anything when it came to sex.
Okay.
Dig a booty hole? Okie dokie.
There is nothing like a man that like willingly and happily feasts on ass.
Yeah. That was my George Washington. It was the first time someone had ventured to that area. I was like,
Yeah.
wait,
And not in like a tentative, like in a
enthusiast.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
So that was my Washington, just because he was only the second person I ever had sex with, but was like very like opened me up to a whole bunch of things. First person I smoked weed with. We used to get high and fuck in the dorm, like all of that. So
sounds like a good time.
It was until it wasn't. And
until
then
it wasn't.
my Lincoln is the nigga I fuck with in the midst of my divorce. He definitely freed the pussy. Because before that, so we had been together before and then broke up and then each got married and then came back to each other after, and during divorces.
Oh, y'all took the long path.
Yeah, should have never, but whatever.
The long path to the not so promised
town.
land, right?
But
like this where the fuck we ended up? Shit.
Exactly. Ended up being a not great whatever, but the sex was top notch, and it was exactly what I needed coming out of a marriage and all of that. Like I needed someone who I felt like I could be 100% myself with in and out of bed, and especially in the bed, and that is what that was for me. So that's Lincoln.
Love to see it.
Yeah, Roosevelt, just classic and breaking barriers and making my life better is my current partner. It's great and it's consistent. There's never, I don't ever not come. Like, I don't ever, unless I want to, like, unless I'm delaying gratification, because I like to do that sometimes, because then fireworks.
Edging is fun.
Yeah. Unless it's on me, I don't ever not come. It is fan-fucking-tastic. He is Roosevelt, not going nowhere, steady, classic, but also amazing. And then, Jefferson is the most trash nigga of them all. So Jefferson
literally of them all.
Of them all. So he represents all the other niggas.
Like in Voltron, like they all
came together.
They all combined forces. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was fun.
So and this is a sample of like some of the conversations that go on your podcast. You talk about sex a lot openly on your podcast, among other things. I think it would be short-sighted just to call your podcast a sex podcast, because you talk about touch on a little bit of everything. But like, what was the prevailing attitude around sex in your home growing up? Especially because I know you have a close relationship with your granny, had a close relationship with your granny. And so I can imagine if she was anything like my granny, she was yin and yang all in one old lady.
So my grandmother was everything to me. And for me, if like people who are close to me know that like my grandmother, people always see my grandmother as my mother figure and my mom more like a sister figure. Mm-hmm. And I will say my grandmother was very old school. She was very traditional. So I would be kind of curious if she was still with us, what her thoughts would be about me doing this. Because I think she would be a little like, are you crazy? Like, you're out here, this is what you're talking about. But on the other hand, my mom My mom calls herself Mama Ratchet because, my podcast, our tagline is your source for all things responsible and ratchet. And my mom calls herself Mama Ratchet. She has the merch. She's at my shows.
Yes.
Like, she listens to most of the episodes. Like, she's down for it. And so my mom took the approach because my grandmother was so buttoned up and traditional that my mom didn't shy away from things. So she wasn't like out here like, girl, that last night, like, but if I came to her and asked her a question, she would give me an honest answer. And I always tell this story because I went to a predominantly white high school, middle school, high school growing up. And it was 7th grade. We're at the lunch table and they're talking about stuff. I have no idea what these girls are talking about. Like, and one of the girls was like, yeah, I gave him a blowjob. And I was like, so all the girls are like, oh my God, I have no idea what a blowjob is, right? So I'm like, so I get in the car, we're coming home from school.
Take a note.
Yeah, and I was like, Ma, I was like, at lunch today, so-and-so said she gave so-and-so a blowjob. The car was like mommy, she jerked the car a little bit. And I was like, I had no idea what that is. So I was like, and my mother was like, oh, you didn't? I was like, no, but I was like, what is it? And my mom... I remember the one girl in my carpool, she was like in 11th grade and I'm in 7th grade. And so she looks at my mom like, what you about to say? And so my mom
like, girl,
goes,
what you gonna do?
Yeah, and so my mom is like, I will never forget it. She was like, well, sometimes girls like to put their mouths, she goes, women like to put their mouths on men's penises because it feels good to the man. And I was like, ew, why would they do that? Right? Now, fast forward, But at the time, I was just like, that is so gross. And she was like, well, at some point, you might not find it gross. And I was just like, I would never. That is so disgusting. But that's how my mom's approach always was. Like, she started the sex conversation with me. Like, she didn't wait. I guess after that, she was like, wait a minute, I can't wait. And so
for the streets.
I remember her... we used to tease her now because she used to buy movies from Avon. So she brought Just Another Girl on the IRT. And she hits play. Like she's
wait, what?
You used to buy movies from Avon back in the day.
That's
that was
Spike
like
Lee movies, right? Like,
it was all types of movies my mother would buy, and then she would make me and my brother watch them, and then we would have like a discussion about it.
Is this some Baltimore shit?
Wait.
Is this some Baltimore shit? Because I don't remember my Avon
officially
lady.
from Avon, right? I'm about to say, I feel like your Avon lady was just also selling bootlegs out the trunk.
Look,
Your Avon lady sold Louis Vuittons, Skin So Soft, and movies.
Look, mommy would come home with movies. And so it was this one when me and my brother were little. We had to watch about like people molestation, but it was like My Body Belongs to Me and all this. That was how my mother set the scene, and then we would talk about it. So we watched Just Another Girl on the IRT, and she got pregnant, and like what happens. And then we talked about it, and she's like, "Well, when you have sex, and I was just like, oh my God, like." And she's like, "You have any questions?" So my mom was just very open and very free about that. So in retrospect, I'm so appreciative because I look at some of my friends who have like, my mom still hasn't had a conversation with me about it. Like, how can you sit here and talk to your mom, or how she listened to your podcast? Like, I could never. And they're like, we're almost 40. And I'm like, yeah, I could call my mother up, or she'll joke me. Like, my mom has a radar on me. She knows when I just got my back blown out, and she will call while I'm still laying there. And I'm like it's a joke now with my partner now, because when the phone ring, we'll be laying there, the phone ring, he'd be like, it's your mother. And I'm like, I don't know how she does this, but almost every single time she's hitting that phone, I'm like, it's 3 a.m. What you doing?
I love it.
So it was very open.
Good job, Mama Ratchet.
Right? So you just told us really hilariously how your mama impacts the way you move through your world. I'm curious about how being from Baltimore impacts the way you move through the world and the work that you do.
I joke because everybody's like, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. I really feel that shit is true about Baltimore. Like, where I grew up, I should not, everything was stacked against me to be the statistic, or whatever statistic it was going to be. That should have been me. And so that is where my grandmother stepped up, because she had the means financially to make sure she could chart a different path for us. And so I'm appreciative of that, but I'm also not naive to know, shit, I made it from West Baltimore. And I always do for reference points for people who aren't familiar with Baltimore. And I hate using this reference point, but it's the easiest recently is like where that CVS burned in the riots after Freddie Gray. I grew up 3 lights from there. So everything, all the statistics you hear about that neighborhood in West Baltimore, I have friends that I grew up with who I see them now and I'm like, like you look like you're 50, you've been shot, this one's strung out, or and so for the few of us who have made something, it's like we did it, like we made it. And so I feel like it's that duality of like, yeah, I went to this like private school, upper class, but my ass was going home to West Baltimore every day. And so I'm appreciative that my grandmother was able to do that for me, but I'm still grounded that I'm from West Baltimore.
Yeah. So your tagline for your podcast is all things responsible and ratchet. What does it mean? What does that mean? What does it mean to you to be responsible and ratchet?
Like all your bills is paid, but you gonna bust that shit open.
Hey.
That's literally like my podcast. Like if you listen, yes, it will be an episode where we're talking about our favorite dicks. And then next week it will literally be like, all right, IRS is on our back. We got to pay these student loans, right? So I think it's that duality of life that like you can be a responsible adult, but you can turn up and have a little ratchet fun too. Like I just don't think you have to pick this, I'm this or I'm that. But I can be both. And I could be a little bit more responsible than I'm ratchet, or sometimes I could be a little bit more ratchet than I'm responsible. And I feel like I feel like you can tell in my seasons, like, because I'm in season 9 now. And so I was looking at the episodes I've already recorded, and I was like, you could tell what I'm going through because these episodes are mad responsible. So I'm like, I have to find some ratchet. I got to ratchet this up a little bit. But last season, I felt like they were super ratchet.
So we asked you to come on because the last story that we read on the show, Brazilian Wax, which is from Erotic Tales of Love, Sex, and Submission, is perfectly ratchet. And we know that you know a little bit about that. So it features someone who gets her pussy ate while getting a wax. Yeah. So,
I have questions.
I do have questions about pieces of hair.
So here's the thing. I said that to my mom because I'm honest, right? And my mom was like, I would be worried about the wax getting on my lips.
I was definitely thinking about the logistics of it all.
Yeah, I think in my mind. Now, here's the thing. You know, sometimes when you get a Brazilian, because I'm a European wax every 5 weeks. My girl is not ashamed to get up in there. I feel like she's more intimately in touch with my vagina than my gynecologist is.
Mm-hmm. And you spend more time down there.
Yeah. Right. And the first time I remember she was like, okay, let me open you up. And I was like, oh, she's not. Okay, get it clean.
It's like, I don't think sun has ever hit there.
But as she's waxing, when she, you know, they pull it and they hold it so it doesn't hurt. And she touched my clit, and I was like, wait a minute, am I aroused right now? Like, what just happened? So I can see how it could turn, but I'm like, if somebody just started eating my pussy during the wax, I don't know how that works though.
Yeah. I mean, in the story, she was already fantasizing about her before it happened. Yeah. And she was already getting excited just from the act of the waxing. So then when she saw that she was wet, she was like, word. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Dun, dun.
Right. But so my question for you is, have you ever had a situation that's basically not really sexual turn into something majorly sexual?
I was thinking about this one a lot. And I normally don't like to think about the questions when people send them because I don't want it to sound robotic. And that's not even my style anyway. Yeah. And I was really trying to think of a time with someone else. And I was like, I got nothing. But one time I was doing laundry. I've never shared this with anybody. So one time I was doing laundry.
DJ Clue exclusive. Sorry.
And I had like stuffed this laundry bag full of laundry. And I was like, oh, now I gotta fold it. And I don't know what, a light bulb went off and was like, this could be useful for spicing up masturbation. And so I kind of put the Hitachi on I'm trying to act it out, on the laundry bag. Like I was straddling it like it was a nigga for it to be a different position. So that was the only thing I could come up with.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great one.
I texted Bay last night like, hey, thinking he would say something that would jog my nothing.
Yeah, I know. I'm like trying to think about. So I am a person, I guess it's the equivalent of wet dreams. I have come in my sleep several times.
Okay.
Like I'll be dreaming about sex and then I'll be waking up actually finishing. But I'm also dreaming about sex. I don't know that that's unsexy because it's definitely, yeah.
But now I feel like, do I need to spice this up? Is this something I need to make happen now?
You gotta get your girl to.
That's so funny. Like,
here's the thing. I've never had something happen, but I feel like there has been sexual energy. Like, so when I do work out, I personal train. Why? Because I cannot be left to my own druthers to like make sure that I'm going to do. So there's a lot of like back talk and all of that. I turn into a submissive brat when personal training. I remember I had a trainer. I did not have sex with him, but there was lots of sexual energy. Because I'm like, I'm not doing it. He's like, you gonna do it. I'm like, okay. Had I thought about it a little bit more, we probably would have fucked. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a theory about personal trainers on Instagram and fat women. Like, I feel like they try to flirt with you in your DMs to get you to sign up. Like, that's their mechanism. Like, nigga, I get dick. Like, please get out of my DM.
Yeah, I don't need it from you. When I lived in New York, I had a personal trainer who I did not like, but he was very clearly attracted to me. And so it was a lot of one-sided flirting when I was working out, but it was fine because he was funny. So it never crossed the line of making me feel uncomfortable. But then I remember I missed, I don't know, a session. I got married without telling anybody. And so I came back and I had a ring on and he had me on the treadmill and he was like, the fuck is that?
Oh, damn.
I got married. And it was his whole... Right. But it was crazy because I could see his whole demeanor and like the way that he trained me change once he saw that it wasn't just that I wasn't, because me just being uninterested wasn't enough, mind you.
It's not
it had to be
now.
Right. Like there had to be another dick in the picture for him to be like, oh, okay, I'll leave her the fuck alone, which is an issue all unto itself. And I think maybe I only lasted a couple more weeks with him before I stopped training with him.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay. I mean, and I think maybe that, I mean, they say that personal trainers and barbers are like thoughts, like male thoughts, right?
Thought
so,
jobs.
Yeah. And HVAC techs.
So, I got a story about my HVAC tech. I was like, damn, I kind of feel like I fumbled the bag because he came, like he's always been timely, efficient, affordable. And one day he pulled up and I was like, the little gold tooth was gone. He had like he looked like a woman was in his life, right? So it made me pay attention. And then I like walked into the door and he was driving a damn Range Rover now. I was like, damn. Yeah.
So some woman like She picked him up and dusted him off.
Because he wasn't unattractive, but I just never paid attention. But you could see when a woman refines a man up. And I was like, ooh, wait a minute. Yeah.
Looking like somebody
Diamond
loved
in the
him.
fucking rough.
Okay, so have you ever found yourself lusting after someone that, you know, that you shouldn't have, or or that you imagined like it wouldn't even happen? What happened?
So you know that meme that's going around with like, when I feel bad about myself, I just remember I bagged every nigga I wanted. Yeah, I think that's me.
I like that.
Because I will. Sometimes you know how you scroll on Instagram, you be like, "Damn, he fine." I'm quick to pull up in a DM. Closed mouths don't get fed, right? It could be. I could play it off, right? Like if it's like you're not interested, I'd be like, "LOL, ha ha ha," right? And peace out.
Okay, so I've never done the DM thing. How do you shoot your shot?
Really?
Yeah.
This is Boonie's Ratchet ranking of social media DM dick. Twitter.
Exclusive. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Why?
Then Facebook. Instagram has given me the weakest dick ever. Don't do it. Twitter dick is popping. I'm sorry.
So do you just and I don't want to sound like slow about this. It's just I've never done it, and it might be on my.
All right, here's an example. Yesterday, my
Mm-hmm.
homie posted a picture of, he has our problematic fave on my podcast, Brian. He has his business. He posted this guy in his Insta story. So I sent the eyes emoji back to Brian, like, and he was like, "Leave my customers alone." I was like, too late, slid in his DMs. And I was looking at his Insta story, and he had shared the meme about when you date in a female entrepreneur, you automatically sign up for an unpaid internship or something like that, to be an unpaid intern. And so I was like, "Are you looking for an internship?" That was me sliding in the DMs.
You know what? All right. I might have to get some private coaching, but I like it.
I can always, I could take the funny, right? Yeah. If he respond, like, I did that this morning. So if he responds back, like, no, then I could be like, "Oh, that meme was funny. LOL. Peace." Or if he takes the bait, then we can go further.
I like it. Yeah,
always thinking. I love it.
Maybe it's because my Twitter is not really, nobody gives a fuck what I'm saying on Twitter.
Yeah, no,
IG
Twitter,
is like
Twitter
where I get all my
drier.
DMs. Yeah.
Back in the day, like Twitter's still my favorite social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, it was popping over there. And I was like, okay, we'll sample a little.
Yeah.
But
All my shit
Instagram
comes
has
through
let me
IG.
down far more than any of the others.
I mean, I obviously am not accepting things, but that is where the majority of my DM propositions, and also sometimes Facebook, and oftentimes IG and Facebook, which gets you blocked.
Oh yeah, because people wouldn't have, they have those
too.
combined inboxes. Like,
Yeah, they have that combined
but
inbox
no,
thing.
no.
Yeah.
No, what happens is I'll get it on Facebook and I'll ignore it. And then they'll come over to my IG. And if you do that,
like,
you automatically get blocked. Exactly.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, it's only been women. I actually haven't had any men approach me on.
I have this
only women
on Twitter that I thought she was joking at first, but I'm not sure she's joking anymore.
Like, okay.
So I'm just like,
All right.
okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's right.
If that ever comes on the menu, I'll let you know, sis.
Yes. So, what are you reading right now?
So I am terrible. I'm totally, again, the Sagittarius in me. I will buy books, order on Instagram, and they look so pretty on my nightstand. But right now, I'm actually in the middle of a move. And I realized when y'all sent that, I was like, I ain't leave no books out. They all packed up. But I did get recently the was it Homecoming? Making that up.
Yeah. No, you're not
Hold
making
on.
it up.
It is. It's. Oh no! It's Homecoming by Gassi.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce their last name.
Someone bought me that. The marketing nerd in me. This is so corny.
I'm sorry, I was looking back.
But I got the Widow of Veuve Clicquot book. That's the marketing nerd in me.
I saw that somewhere.
Yeah. So it's about how he actually died and she made it the brand that everyone likes posting on Instagram.
Oh.
So those are the last two things I purchased that I planned on reading.
Okay.
I like it.
Hey, whatever's clever.
Those are great answers. Exactly.
So, what is turning you on today?
Ooh, what is turning me on? 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
1, my Hitachi Magic Wand turned me on this morning.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
2, hopefully Bae comes over, and so we've been like dirty sexting all day long. That is fun.
Yeah.
It's got it marinating.
Yes,
It's gonna
we're ready.
Fall off the bone juicy by the time he get there.
We're ready for that.
Mm-hmm. Like a Little Caesar pizza, hot and ready.
I'm gonna say that, hot and ready. And the third thing that's turning me on is I have not been to a nail salon in a long time because of the pandemic. But I have found an Instagram ad worked on me for these and I did my nails today and I'm kind of feeling myself because my nails hadn't been done. And they've been short. Like I don't do the long. I wish I was a bad bitch who could do them long nails.
These are short for me.
Really? Oh my God.
She got her shit cut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
can't do shit with them. I be typing like this.
Okay, that's always my question. And they look so pretty when you wrap them around a dick, but I really just cannot operate. So these are short for me. They'll get a little longer, but I was just so excited because it's color back on my hands. So those are the 3 things that's turning me on.
I love it. Okay, so we're going to do a quick rapid fire.
Uh-oh.
Category is favorites. Yeah, it's never rapid fire. Favorites. I'm going to shout out something. You tell me what's your favorite.
Okay.
Drink.
Gin and tonic.
Ooh, that's an adult drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a grown-up.
Person. Dead or alive?
My granny.
You know I love a good
That's
granny.
Erica's favorite too.
I love a good granny. Place.
Oh. And I can't wait to get back to them. So first will be Italy. And 2, Cape Town, South Africa.
Word.
My favorite word. My friends will laugh. Wonderful.
That is wonderful.
They're like, I'll text it. They're like, I hear it in your voice. I'll be like, oh, wonderful. That's my favorite word.
I feel like you're supposed to do this when you say it. Wonderful. Okay. Shoe.
I really hate shoes. I don't know if I'm a woman. Can I say that?
It could be a sneaker, Crocs, which I've learned to love.
Okay, I saw you talking about your Crocs.
She's been pushing these fucking Crocs all day.
I'm still not sold on Crocs, but my favorite shoe is Birkenstocks.
How you gonna be not sold on a Croc, but cool with a Birkin? Honey, I'm just the plastic, the landfill version of your shoe, okay? Shit.
Even though I will say, I wish I had thought of the charms that everyone's putting on them.
Okay. She has left me, 3 audio messages today. She made me in our meeting before this call look at her shit.
That says Bison. And then look, when I got to put them in sport mode.
Yo, that took me out. You're like, I'm in sport mode. I was like, well. But everybody's on the Croc train. So I might be there soon.
Oh, they're ugly.
Come on.
No.
Okay,
I'm
last
wear
thing.
my slides.
She wears slides with socks.
Sure the fuck
and she's talking about Crocs are ugly. Anyway.
Comfortable.
Okay.
And they not
Your favorite.
ugly.
Oh, they are. Oh, no. Anyway. Okay, so your favorite smell.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna give a responsible and a ratchet answer.
Please.
My responsible answer, my favorite smell is just fresh linen. Like a very clean, fresh linen. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give 2 ratchet ones.
Yes.
The first is when the smell. I'm nasty. The smell of my mouth or breath or saliva on him. It's a very distinct smell, but I like it. And then second, a good smelling ass man. I don't care what the cologne is. Just a good smelling man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are 2.
Oh, you got me reminiscing. All right.
Okay. Okay. And my third one.
Oh, okay.
A good smelling man after multiple rounds of sex. Sheets. Those sheets. Where you just like,
girl.
I will sleep in them for 2 days before I change the sheets. Disgusting, but they smell good. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's so crazy because you change the sheets before they come.
So
and then it
fresh.
smells like, if it's a good
like,
smelling so I got the linen smell. And then if it's the good smelling cologne man, and then you got the sex smell all in one.
Yeah,
it's just the perfect.
I
perfect
agree.
combination.
I think it's all good.
So you have offered our listeners a special deal, right? If they use the code turn on your site, what can they get?
So if you use the code turn on the BoonieBreakdown.com, you can save, I believe I said 15% on orders over $20 of any merch. So,
and you have a shirt on.
If I did not, I will correct it to be $15. I mean, 15% over $20. Because now I'm sitting here like, did I say that? But that's what it is.
You definitely said 10, but we will take that 15.
Yeah, it'll be 15% off of orders over 20. But yeah, so you can get hoodies, t-shirts,
great merch,
mugs, all of the great, responsible, and ratchet gear that we have.
Yeah, no, your shit's dope. So y'all make some of that happen. So what's next for you?
What is next? Look, I'm ready to get back to doing live shows. I don't know if I will do any this year because I feel like the competition of live events later in the year is going to be insane. So I'm just probably going to wait until next year. But yeah, we're in season 9 of the podcast right now. We just launched a Patreon. So we do some little live gatherings live air quotes means virtual right now on Patreon, which is fun. We just had this one. I did it one on our Patreon with it was a nude workshop. So like, and sis was giving all the tips, like blew my mind. I thought I took good nudes. And people were popping their titties out and stuff because I asked people to come if you felt comfortable to come in lingerie. And so then I was like, damn, bitch, you asked them to do that. Now you gonna have to do it. So I did it. I showed up in my little whatever situation. But it was a really good time. And so that's the kind of stuff we do. So more of that for this year. And just hopefully 2022 we'll get back with these live shows for real.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. And where can the people find you?
So you can find the Boonie Breakdown podcast on all podcast apps, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, anywhere, because it's a gazillion of them and I'm not naming them all. But we have a good time over on Instagram. It's where I'm most active with the podcast on Instagram. So you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Boonie Breakdown and on Twitter just at Boonie Breakdown. But we have a good time on Instagram. So follow us there.
Yes, and I want to say that is at TheBoonie Breakdown.
Yes, that sounds
so go on and follow. I know,
We'll
right?
include the links in the show notes.
I realized it when I got halfway. I was like, shit, this is long.
I gotta keep going.
Thank you so much for coming on and talking
Thank
to us
you
today.
for
Thank you for
being
having
with
me.
us and being hella ratchet with us today. Sprinkling
Yes,
your
thank you
ratchet
for
over
having me.
here.
Just a little bit. Teeny tiny bit. This was fun. And thank all of y'all for listening. And we'll be back next week. Take care. This episode was produced by us, Kenrya and Erica, and edited by Ballistic. The theme music is from Brazy. Hit subscribe right now in your favorite podcast app and at youtube.com/The Turn On Podcast so you'll never miss an episode.
Then follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast. And you can find links to books, transcripts, guest info, what's turning us on, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com.
And don't forget to email us at theturnonpodcast@gmail.com with your book recommendations and your pressing sex and related questions.
And you can support the show by leaving us a 5-star review, buying some merch, or becoming a patron of the show. Just head to theturnonpodcast.com to make that happen.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Holla.